Hello, Bob. Web Voorhees here. 43 years ago, you were a rookie coach, and I was a rookie student of yours. Back then, things were a lot different. For our warm-up runs, you had us run Cherry Bottom to Morris Road and back. We did our intervals around on a path around the football field that was muddy on wet days, and when the high grass was not mowed, the ticks would get on us, would have to check for ticks afterwards. And those of us who were lucky enough to be on relay teams went up to the paved circle to work on our handoffs. It was a lot of fun, and back then you and your cousin Gil actually ran with us on many occasions, just as hard, fast, and long as we did. And you were ahead of your time. You allowed us to warm up slowly. You required us to warm down. Who ever heard of warming down back then? And for those of us who are long distance and middle distance runners, you wanted us to sprint so that we had power, so that we could kick at the end of our races. You really, really got a lot out of us. You got the most out of us. I've never said this to you because I didn't want you to get a bigger head than you already have. But I want to tell you now, you were the best coach I ever had. The best. So good luck in your retirement. Thank you for everything.
Phil Cannon, class of '82. Congratulations to you, Coach Kirk, on your retirement, on this, whatever, darn near, 40 years in the game, on the coaching side. Suppose we're supposed to, it's not a roast, so we're not supposed to tell a joke about you or something along those lines, but it's just supposed to be giving you congratulations and giving little vignettes. But a couple of things that come to mind when I reflect on the time that I spent, the privilege that I had of being coached by you, and in those years, and seeing what you've done in the subsequent years as well. But a couple of the things that stand out, I started laughing. A couple of things that stand out were, I think that that aspect of competing, and that's something that you were certainly adamant about, I think, and wanting to, as any coach does, wanting to get the most out of their athletes and wanting their athletes to get the most out of themselves. And so building up that urge, that penchant for competing, that is something that is certainly kind of a lifelong skill. I'm about to get into it here, about to take some skins in this spin class. But the competition side, and I know you try to push buttons and try to motivate guys as well, and girls and gals as well. I say gals, girls as well, boys and girls. But a couple of things that stand out, sort of on the funny side, was I think one of those things, getting us or taking us to see, I don't think it was like Rocky III. Wasn't happening. That was not what didn't work for me. And you find out that I'm not much of a movie guy, and Rocky III, it just wasn't enough. I think the best thing I thought out of that movie obviously was Clubber Lang and his prediction of the outcome of the fight. 4 letters, pain. That was about the coolest thing out of Rocky III. The other thing was highlight for me, I suppose. It wasn't some of those records and championships and the victories, but I talk about competing, was my senior year. I anchored the 4x1 at regional, and I never ran anchor on the 4x1, and I think I don't know what position I got the baton in. I didn't care. I just knew that you'd put me in that position. You'd put me on the team that one time to try and bring it through and get a team and get some additional opportunities, get guys the states, get guys the opportunity to compete at the old shoot. And at the old Ohio Stadium, and I got the baton. I had no idea what place I was in, but I know I took some skins. I know I walked some people down on that occasion, and there was such a joy that I had in doing that, in just blasting that final straightaway on that occasion. That really stands out as one of my favorite moments in my time there. So it's been a privilege, as I said, to continue watching, to develop and see guys come through the program. Obviously, so many names that I've had the privilege of meeting, some of the more recent vintage athletes on the occasion of my trips out there to Ohio, and catching some of those wonderful performances. So I want to kind of try to wrap up here. I know it's like, get the time, getting the signal to wrap it up. But again, I want to congratulate you again on this retirement, to whatever that you're going to continue competing at. Don't know what it's going to be. I know that you like to get up on the two wheels. Certainly welcome to come out here to Colorado. We got some great events, great cycling events here in Colorado that you might want to try out. And again, want to wish you the best, and in quest of the best, always hail Academy, and good luck to Lucinda to have to spend more time with you. So take care. Love you.
Hi, Coach Kirk. In case you don't recognize me, this is Frank Fite, class of 1977. 40 years ago, almost to this very day, you led a group of young men, including me, to the first ever state championship in any sport for our school. It seems just like yesterday sometimes that we were carrying that big trophy around the Ohio State Horseshoe. Other times it seems like a lifetime ago, like when I watched my son, Sean, running the 400-meter dash for Colorado College. But what a lifetime of track it has been for you. I'm proud to have been there in the beginning in 1975, and I well remember running on cinders and asphalt all the way up to competing on our beautiful new tartan track, building a love of the sport that has lasted me these 40-plus years. And it's because of you. You personified, embodied that love of track for me and for 1,000 other athletes that came after us back from the old days. And I pass that love on to my son. He is part of your legacy too. Every time I watch him run, I get those same adrenaline rush, the same feelings I used to get running the 400 meter for you. Coach Kirk, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you did for me and for all of us that got to run for you. You're the best coach I ever had. Enjoy your retirement.
I'm Eric Thomas of the class of 1984. Bob Kirk and I had an unusually close relationship the whole time I was at Academy, because I started at Academy the first year he got his teaching job there, and I had him as a fourth grade teacher, and he was the coolest teacher I ever had. He'd always, he let me get away with all kinds of stuff, but he'd often stop the class and give us discussion about some philosophical topic, or Muhammad Ali getting out of the draft or something of that sort. But then when I went to high school, he was the track coach, and I went out for the track team, and he was a great coach while I was there. But not only did he was he able to handle all these different groups of athletes that are on a track team, but he also told lots of fun stories that I remember, like the time his fraternity in college got him to be in the wrestling tournament, and then he had a little trouble in the track meet that evening, or his difficult relationship with an athletic director named Scarfpin. But yeah, I can still remember driving to Shady Side and listening to him tell stories, and listen to him at the awards banquets and talking about the previous year's state track meet. So it was just a great experience having Bob Kirk as my track coach.
Hey Coach, this is Scott Smith, better known as Smitty, class of '87. And I just thought I'd send a couple words about what Coach Kirk did for me. The main thing he did is made me love running. So I am now an ancient style person, age 48, and still running half marathons and marathons. And Coach Kirk is responsible for that. The other thing he taught me is you can always stop when you're running, so there's no reason to wimp out at the beginning. You can just go for it, and you can always stop if you have to. But anyway, congratulations on retiring, and thanks for being a great coach.
Name is Jay Nelson, class of '88. My buddies and I, my senior year, decided we were going to try to get out of gym class by signing up for track with Coach Kirk. And of course, he let us on the team and threw us in the weight room with all the other big guys. And I ended up throwing the discus and having probably the best time I had of any sport I did in high school. And for about a year or two, held a school record for the discus. And I don't know, I just want to say thanks for that. It was a great memory. This dude right here. This dude.
Hey, Coach Kirk, Ryan Vesler here, class of 2001. Just want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, both on the track and off the track, especially all the life advice, mentoring, great storytelling, and sense of humor that you've shared with me over the years. I truly treasure all of those interactions and memories that I have. Few things. Can't make this clip too long because one of the unfortunate things of putting the video together is that I already know how long it is, so I unfortunately don't want to add too much length to it. And the second thing is, sorry about these goofy headphones. For some reason, the audio quality is not right with the regular microphone, so I'm resorting to these headphones. But hopefully, as the founder of Archive Audio, you can appreciate my dedication to high fidelity audio. But again, just want to thank you for everything. It's been amazing knowing you as my 6th grade English teacher and continuing that friendship today. So congratulations on a great coaching career, and I will see you soon.
Hey, what's up, Coach Kirk? Ben Bring here, class of 2007. Just wanted to give you a video shout out and say thank you for all the years and all the coaching you gave to us. Some of my best memories from high school came from the track seasons I ran for you for 4 years. I remember one of the funniest things when you came up to me after a JV basketball game and you said, hey, did you ever think about running track? And it had never crossed my mind before. I think some people thought I was a little bit crazy to give up baseball and go run track. I was looking back, it was one of the best things I ever did, so I really appreciate it. Just wanted to share a few fun memories from you. I remember my freshman year. I was the 5th man on the 4x8 relay team with guys like Brandon Seibert and Steve Brooks. Chris Capano was on that team too, and I remember you had to make a pretty difficult decision pulling Brandon out so he could do well in the 400. And being the freshman, the young guy in the team, it was kind of awkward. It was kind of fun. It was one of my favorite memories is running. I actually got to run the anchor leg just to see how we would have done if Brandon wouldn't have run, or if he would have run. And I remember looking up on the Jumbotron there, and as I came down the home stretch on my first lap, the guys that were in first were trailing me pretty hot, and I remember seeing it up on the Jumbotron. Luckily, we didn't get lapped, but it was a cool experience. I think it kind of set the tone for the next few years when we went to states, and especially the 4x8 team when we made it to the podium my senior year. Definitely one of my most proud moments as an athlete was getting on that podium our senior year. We ran the 8:06 with our 4x8 team. So some of my favorite Coach Kirk sayings, if you look back, I remember you always used to say to us, you think you're going to beat me? You really think that you're going to beat me? And I remember you telling us to say that to the guy running next to you, like, who do you think you are? And one of my favorite Coach Kirk sayings is like, if you're going to beat me, it's going to cost you some hair and some hide. And I still talk about that to this day. So, I love everything you ever taught me about being competitive, having that competitive spirit, and never letting the guy next to you beat you. It's something that stuck with me forever, and definitely something that gave me an edge in life of having that competitive ability and competitive spirit. So I appreciate that. Loved just looking. I got a whole list of things here of good memories. Definitely my senior year when we won the BAC district champs, or my senior year too. I remember I was thinking about this morning. We were down 9 points going into the final, the 4x4 relay, but we were behind Fredericktown. We needed 10 to win districts, and Fredericktown had been disqualified in the prelims. And I remember you said to us, like, "Hey, look, if you guys want to win it, if we're going to win districts, we got to win this." And we had a pretty stacked 4x4 team that year with Ray Jones anchoring that up. And so I remember I ran third, passed it off to Ray in first, and we took it home. So that was kind of cool to do too. Another fun story. I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was my sophomore year, 4x8 relay. We were running, it was district finals, 4x8 relay out at Hilliard-Davidson High School. And, it had rained, and we just kept having delays and delays and delays. And I remember you said, I think we had 3 or 4 rain delays. And I remember you said the teams that are going to qualify are the ones that can stay focused, that can continue to warm up, warm down, and stay focused. And again, that's something I keep with me too, is, whenever life gets hectic or things get a little out of control, or things you can't control, I think it's really important that you stay focused. And I remember we did qualify for regionals that year with that 4x8 team. I think we got third place that night, but we didn't end up running until I think like 11:30 or midnight. It was one of the later things. So definitely appreciate that. Another thing I loved about the way you coached is you always saw potential in people that didn't see potential in themselves. I was a pretty scrawny, 400, 800 guy. And that was the thing, is I always felt like you really took an interest in every member of the track team. You never played any favorites. You always ran who was the fastest. I remember those runoffs, they were stressful. But at the end of the day, you never argued, because we always knew based on the runoff, we always had the 4 fastest guys out there for the relays. And so I think that was one thing that I loved, is that you definitely found potential, and you found the best in every athlete that you ever coached. And then teaching that mental toughness, definitely something that, I think is kind of going away, in America now. People are getting soft, and it's definitely something I've held on to, is having that mental toughness. And again, I see you running down the track and say, like, "You think you're going to beat me?" And I still say that every day. It's like, man, no, it's gonna cost you some hair and some hide to beat Ben Bring, and that's thanks to Bob Kirk. So again, thanks for everything. Thanks for teaching me how to compete. Thanks for pulling me away from baseball. It was the best thing I ever did in my athletic career. Love running for you. You're truly a legend in Ohio sports, let alone just academy. Just talking over the years, it was cool to be a part of that, the Bob Kirk fraternity and sorority, for all your athletes. And again, I just can't thank you enough for giving me all those life skills, teaching me how to compete, and and teaching me all the great things you did. So I wish you the best of luck. Still love the archive audio. Still got all the pictures hanging up in my bedroom back home of all the fun track times we had. And appreciate everything again, Coach. We'll see you around, and keep running. I know you can probably still beat some of the guys on the team too, so don't ever stop running. We'll talk to you later. Thanks again.
This is Dan Marshall
and Duncan Mendelson, coming to you from Wyoming.
Congratulations, Bob Kirk, and thanks for all the memories.
Coach Kirk, it's Jimmy Schoenfeld, class of 2004, the 4x8, the 1600, the 3200, anything else you'd make me run. I figured if we were going to make a video in your honor, it should be out here at Jesse Owens. You know where this place is. We made a lot of great memories here. Just wanted to say, honestly, you are the greatest athletic coach I had in my life. I wish that you could have come and coached me in college. I think I probably would have succeeded there much more and enjoyed it a lot more. And there's reasons why you're the best coach I've had. Number one, you're all about camaraderie and teamwork. And one of the ways that you did that was back in 2004, when email was sort of a new technology. You'd send out these daily updates for the track meets, who's on what lineup, who's running what race, who hit what splits last meet, what people's goals were. And I remember hanging out in the upper school library, sorry it's windy, just sitting in that library waiting for the emails to come through on meet day and loving reading through them and getting pumped for the night. It was all about the team. It was never about the individual, no matter how good that individual was. So I appreciate that about you. You also were way more than a coach. You're a mentor and a friend. I remember nights coming over to watch old track footage at your house. And also just helping me process my life purpose with my junior speech and what I was trying to say in that. So you did a whole lot of things there in my life. But finally, just want to tell a life lesson. You taught me not to compare myself to others in life. And the way you taught me that through track was that you always said to run your own race. My style was never to hold back and then kick at the end of a mile or a 2 mile. My style was to have the exact same split every single lap and to know what I wanted to do. And right over here on curve 1, you'd always be out there, and you, no matter how loud the meet was, you could hear Coach Kirk's voice scream out the split. And depending on how the tone was, it was either you're on your split or you're not. But you never really said whether we were or weren't. We just knew from your tone. And because of you, honestly, in that 2 mile race, my senior year, I would not have gotten 5th place out here in the state because on my own. I would have gone out with the pack. I would have blown up in the end. But I was out there in almost last place for so many laps, and you just kept yelling out the split, and that's all you would say. You wouldn't say anything more than the split, and so many of those guys got past in the end. And so I've learned from that, just don't try to be another runner. Don't compare yourself to somebody else. Live who you are, live your own race, and that's just a tiny piece of the legacy that you left in my life. I appreciate you. Congratulations on all the years of legacy left at Academy. And I hope we continue to connect even in these years post-track. So congratulations. Thanks for everything. Coach, I forgot to say one more thing. Does Bob Kirk equal Steve Prefontaine? You decide.
Okay, so the story of Bob Kirk I want to tell is from my senior year, and it was a weekend in between regionals and states. And Coach got our 4x8 together and decided to hold a Sunday practice. And the goal of this practice was for Clay Hoster to break 2 minutes in the 800. And this was a time that 3 other guys in the relay had run, and that Clay 100% Coach knew he could do it, but for whatever reason just hadn't been able to get it together in a race yet. And Coach realized that the issue is that it was just his pacing. So Coach thought that if we could evenly pace Clay through 2 laps around a track, then he would have no problem breaking 2. And so sure enough, Coach decides to bring his bike out. He's in full spandex gear. He biked to practice that day. And at 2 o'clock on a Sunday, me and John Michael paced Clay through the first 400 and then the 600. But it was also pacing Clay was Coach Kirk on his bike, literally drafting beside of us, shouting our pace, miles per hour. And it was incredible. And before we started, actually, the security guard came down, kind of suspicious of the fact that there was a bicyclist on the track. And I remember him giving kind of a look to Kirk, about to say something. Kirk looked over at him. And it was pretty much mutually understood that this had to happen. This was Bob Kirk's domain and that this was going down. And so we all got on the line and we paced Clay through, and he ran under 2 minutes in the 800. And on the final stretch, we had all been with Clay. On the final stretch, we let Clay go solo for the final 100. And Bob Kirk shouts at him, "You're going to be a state champion," as he's rounding out that straightaway as fast as he can, breaks it, huge PR, and it was such a cool moment. And when I think about what makes a coach fantastic, what makes Bob Kirk one of the greatest coaches I've ever had, there's 2 things. First, this knowledge of the sport and what it takes. So knowing that if he just broke this race up and just ran it evenly, he could 100% do this. So there's that knowledge and that history of just coaching guys like Clay and knowing that. But more importantly is this kind of intuition, or maybe this kind of foolish belief in guys that always believing that they can do something greater than what they've done, and that they're always how much potential he has in his guys and belief. And I don't think Clay believed that he could run under 2. I don't think any of us knew what was going to happen that day, but Bob Kirk did. And he believed in it so much that when he let Clay run solo for that final 50 meters, Clay started to believe that he could do it. And I think giving your athletes that self-belief and confidence is one of the greatest things you can do. And that's the story I'd like to share.
So many of you know that Coach Kirk is an avid cyclist and has been for many years. And on every nice day, he rides his bike to practice in the spring. And one time we had gone out to warm up, did our 1.5 mile warm up, and we were stretching. And here comes Coach on his bike up the driveway around the corner and over to where we were stretching. And he pulls up, and I notice, and everyone else starts noticing, that his leg is bleeding. And we're just kind of looking, and no one's saying anything, and Coach is acting like nothing's wrong. And I look at Coach and I said, "Coach, what happened to your leg?" And he goes, "Well, a bear got me." And with that, no one asked any more questions. We just started the workout.
Hey there, Coach. Boy, oh boy, what a career. And you are leaving quite the mark. And we all wish you the best in some extra free time that's coming your way next year. Trying to think of a single memory to tell is pretty darn hard because there's so many good ones. But I thought of a couple that are fun and also show just how crazy you are. I remember one of the days of the state track meet one year. I had driven Dominic in the morning, and you came in your red truck, and you were speeding over the humps, and you looked hype in your car. Well, what I didn't see coming was you pulling into the spot across from me and hitting the front of my car because you thought it would hype us up. It did. It was funny too. But love that intensity. Every single moment and speech that you shared with us is something that I'm going to cherish for a really long time. I was driving with some of my coworkers today, and I was telling them about you, and I made them listen to one of your voice memos that you'd sent out, because I still have a CD in my car from all the voice memos you sent out that Clay Hoster put together. So just know that every single speech, moment, memory, event, I'll keep with me. And thank you so much for everything that you've done for me and for everyone else who's gone through the program. You've made a hell of an impact.
Just know that it is your meet to win. It is your meet to win. And you have enough gunners in enough places to go out there, and before you ever step out on the track, you sort of go, wow, the stars do line up here and there. And I said this 2 years ago to John Michael and Gebby and Clay and Nathaniel. Well, they've lined up again. And you're the dudes. And so I say, you go out there and you run everything you're signed up for, and you do everything you can do, and you set a personal record yourself, one by one, and I think you will like the result. I know you will. And last night was a blast. I loved having you guys over here. And you know I love you. You know I really care a lot about you. And I'm an old person. And it is interesting to me how much this energizes everything about what the meaning of life is. And I was thinking today, as I thought about all of the teachers and all of the coaches who have come and gone at the Columbus Academy and every other school there ever was, and I didn't go. I went, I'm going to keep at it. I'm glad I did. So see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, and let's go get it.
Hey, Coach, Dom and I here.
Again. We've done a couple takes.
But we just wanted to kind of reflect and congratulate you on your career at Academy. It's meant a lot to Dom and I, so we wanted to kind of go over maybe a couple of our favorite memories.
Yeah, so for one, Jake and I both agree that Penn Relays is by far one of the best memories. When I barely had the energy to hand the baton off to JM after my PR 400, that was great.
Unfortunately, it was an 800.
Yeah, there was one more lap. I forgot about that. But, yeah.
And I'll never forget, Dom throwing up after the race, me throwing up after the race, and Jack just trying so hard not to throw up, but seeing all of us throw up, he couldn't help himself either, and I'll never forget that. Italian dinner was amazing that trip. It was really the highlight of my sophomore year and maybe even the highlight of all of high school. We also will never forget, we'd have like 1 or 2 workouts. It'd be early April, and after the workout, everyone would be exhausted, and you'd just be like, Hayes in the barn. Hayes completely in the
state meet is in no more than 2 months. we got our eyes on that.
But it's a testament to your coaching because we all believed we were ready, even that early in the season with so few workouts, just racing ourselves into shape. I'll always look back on that as well. Don't think we'll ever forget, all the dinners at your house, and hope to continue doing those in Giuseppe's and little things like the turbo van going to states. I mean, I've personally never been so scared in a car in my life.
It definitely got the adrenaline going if you think about it, though. Like almost dying on the way to states. What's better?
Exactly.
So, like, I'm
puts
ready to
everything
run
in perspective.
Now. I'm ready to run. Yeah.
Yeah. But in all honesty, I mean, it's so cool just to be able to do this video with Dom here, let alone go to college with Dom. And I think that's all because of the coaching you did and the way we were able to run and put us in a position to go to school together. And that's something I'll be forever thankful for. So thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. It was an amazing opportunity. Only two in a row state championships. Great career. So congrats.
Thanks.
And thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Coach, I just want to say thanks for everything that you did for me and everyone else that you ever coached. You've always been really straightforward and really blunt with everyone, and that's something that I really enjoyed. I think that's something that meshes well with what I do and what made me successful. And you were always really honest with us and told us exactly how you felt and what you thought should happen, and you also let us speak to you, and you treated us as if we were adults and as if we were equals, and I always really valued that in the way that you coached, and that's something that I've kind of taken forward into the way I've moved on in my own life, and I really attribute a lot of that to what you taught me, so I really want to thank you for that, and I wish you luck on the rest of your season.
All right, so here's the point here. What I liked about it was that the boys, fellas, you handled this in the way that you hope a bunch of athletes handle it. You are not rookie athletes. You are a bunch of guys who know how to play sports. And you are a bunch of guys who are going, we've prepared. And the reason what happened was because you were prepared mentally and physically for it to happen. That's the way you go about life. You prepare properly. And you let the people who know how to prepare you prepare you. Thank you very much. So I know how to do that. I'm going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to go in there and we're going to go, we are the Columbus Academy. Thank you very much. And there's a heritage here. And there is a pride here. In fact, we are a bunch of kids who are focused, and we like each other, and we believe in each other, and we are together. And we're going to come in here and set an example that says, this is the way to get the job done. This is the way, this is how you get the job done. And it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It takes a lot. This isn't roll out of bed, we're going to walk out here and we're going to beat everybody. This is, we've been in arguments. We've been in testy stuff. We've been in this whole, I don't think that's the right way to do it. We've been in this, I'm going to throw up 85 times. We've been in this, I think I should do a different routine. We've been in this, I think I want to have the... There's so many ways that the leadership among you have focused this whole thing in. It's exciting. There's leadership inside of every one of you guys. Every one of you guys has it. I've said it, I've written it, it's the truth. Every one of you guys has some kind of way you do things that the people around you go, wow, that helps me. That helps me. I mean, the details of the little moments of comment that come up are absolutely to be savored. I love them. I was having a fantastically good time. I really, really was. You're maturing as a team. You're mature enough as a team to go up there and grab a hold of the state championship and own it and say, we did this. It ain't easy. There's 275 teams out here who have a whole bunch of kids out here, and there's good athletes everywhere, and there's not a bunch of dummies that are gathering them together and trying to make good teams. You know, this is the way the world is. Somewhere, somehow, somebody else will beat you if they can do it, unless you beat them. Unless you pull your shit together and beat them. Everywhere, all the time, in your whole life, from now on. So when you win something that's big, when you win something that's hard, when you win something where there's a lot of competition, when you win something that takes a whole bunch of different kinds of things to come together in a mix, it's harder now than it ever was. It's harder now than it was in 1981, 1977. It's harder now because there's a bunch of people, there's more people. There's a bunch of people that go, I'm going to be a track coach. I was an all-American track runner at so-and-so and so wherever. And I'm going to be a teacher, and I'm going to go over and do this, and I'm going to get a bunch of kids, and I'm charismatic, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm going to gather them. I know this. So when I watch you guys go, you know, we're all going to do this together, I go, this is real cool. Real rare, real cool, real hard. Here it is. Man, I think I swore. I think I said some swear words. I don't care. I don't care. I hope. What a bunch of crap that is. Listen, guys. Listen, guys. There's a whole bunch of you. How much fun is that? There's a whole bunch of you guys that are going to share this. And girls too. So, that's the mojo. That's what we're doing. That's what the next week is. And you know what else? The work's over. The hard work that you've been doing, the hard work that's all accumulated into this thing, that's over. It's all done. It's almost like you're on vacation. There's focus, but there's no more drudgery and dread. Now you go there and you go, okay, let's unfold our team. Let's unfold our team up there at Jesse Owens Stadium. You betcha. You bet. And let's enjoy that. Let's enjoy that. Let's enjoy that. It's rare as hell. It's rare as rare gets. It really is.